Hey everybody, how's it going? Steve here, and I've got one hell of an unboxing for you today. This dropped on my doorstep this morning. As you can see, this is the LEGO Nintendo Entertainment System. It is huge. This box is so big that I couldn't use my regular setup to record this, so I'm just sitting on the ground. As you can see here, it's got 2,646 pieces, and it's for ages 18 and up, so I don't expect this to be simple, and I'm really not like a LEGO master builder. I did go to LEGO headquarters last year just to check everything out. They did not let us know that this existed at the time, so this was a huge surprise to both me and Andre, even though we had been all the way to Denmark to visit LEGO. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box before we open it up and see what's inside. So on the front here, this is very reminiscent of the 80s NES box. It's obviously a lot less detailed. It doesn't have all of Nintendo's marketing for obvious reasons, but you've got the NES here. You've got a life-size controller. You have the Mario Brothers cartridge, and the set does include this low-tech TV, as well as this kind of, you see Mario 1-1 here. And from what I understand, this is actually like a scrollable background. So once it's built, we should be able to technically play Mario on this. You can see on the top of the TV too, there's kind of these studs here for you to mount something. That is actually for the Mario figure, which I do not have right now. So unfortunately, I won't be able to show that, and that's actually how the Mario game that you build plays its sound. So I will be playing it on mute, I guess. Let's go ahead and flip this over. And you can see on the back, we have kind of a more detailed illustration. So we have, again, the NES branding. You can see that the NES console is actually got the top flipped up here, and you can actually insert the cartridge that you build, the LEGO cartridge, into the LEGO NES, which is really cool. And it, denotes here that, yeah, that's a life-size controller, like I mentioned. And you've got the TV here, and it mentions that it kind of rolls that background using what they call an old school rolling mechanism. So I guess you have to kind of crank that manually to see the game go by. There are also some detailed illustrations here. You can see kind of Mario, the screenshot here. You can see the back of the TV, which is pretty impressive. It's got like an old school antenna. It's got some RCA inputs here, and then kind of just some fake labeling. But we'll see a whole lot more of that when we're done. This illustration gives you an idea of the dimensions of the built kit. So it looks like the TV is 23.9 inches by 22.6 inches. So it's about 2 feet in either direction. And then you've got, or I'm sorry, that's centimeters. I am so sorry. So that's 9.4 inches by 8.9 inches. So not quite that huge. Thank goodness. I feel this is going to be a pretty big build. The NES is 4.9 inches, or the controller is 4.9 inches by 2 inches tall, and the NES is 8.1 inches by 2.8 inches tall. And I'm not really sure how that measures up to the original NES. It's been a while since I held a full-size NES instead of just the mini in my hands. And here you can see kind of an illustration of somebody cranking along the screen there. And then you just have a link to lego.com/Super Mario here. And if we look at the sides of the box, you can see there's just kind of like a small illustration here. And on the other side, we have nothing, just nothing. And on the top, we have kind of a cool picture of the NES and the cartridge. But what I think is really cool is you actually get an idea for the actual size. So this is a to-scale illustration of the Mario sprite that you get with this, along with a couple of Lego bricks. So if you're super familiar with Lego, that'll give you some idea of how big this whole thing will be. That said, let's go ahead and open this up once I figure out how. Looks like there's some tape on the side here, and I know you guys are going to shred me for this, but I did not bring a knife because I didn't think there was any tape. I actually just got really excited to record this and threw it down on the ground, got ready, and started recording. But fortunately, it looks like we're not going to have too much issue getting this tape off. It's pretty easy to peel. So we're going to peel that off. And one more right here. Let's move it over so you guys can see. Just peel that off, and there's multiple Nintendo licensed product notifications on here. Obviously, we know that it's licensed. Lego would not get away with doing that. There's a QR code there. I wonder what that's for. And then as we open it up, you can just see bags upon bags of Legos. So I'm going to go ahead and just dump this out and we'll see what we have. And it looks like there's also a large box. So let's go ahead and just take a look at these real quick. We've got some kind of tubing. Not sure what that's for. I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. And just numbered bags. So I'm looking at bag number 12. Bag number 18 is over here. Bag 19. So let's see if we can find the highest numbered bag here. 8. 13. Number 20. 20. Let's see, that was 11, 9. Here's another one numbered 20. That's a little intimidating. So there's a white striped bag numbered 20 and a clear bag numbered 20. So maybe that means that we may be looking at 2 numbered sets of 20. Oh, here's number 21. So maybe 20 and a couple others just come in 2 bags because there's definitely not 40 bags here. Let's go ahead and move these off. Keep our little plastic tube. I'm sure we'll need that for something. And let's take a look at what's in the small box. Again, we have just a couple pieces of tape on the sides. I'm not super worried about preserving this box. I'm sure nobody 20 years from now is going to be upset that I ripped the white paper on the white box. And we have another QR code on there. I don't know if these are for just Lego's internal purposes or if they're something that the consumer uses. There's another QR. I'm sure they're just something that is used for some type of stock tracking system that they use. And we are full of more bags of Legos, which is not a surprise. But let's go ahead and tip this out. And take a quick look. So right away, I noticed in bag number 7, let me get that closer, you can see that there's some Nintendo branding stuff in there. I'm sure this is for the NES or the cartridge. We've got kind of a base here, another loose gray Lego, and another piece of this looks like maybe the TV antenna. But we'll find that out, and then just tons of bags. And I'm not going to go through all the Legos because I think I found the number one thing I wanted to look at in this package right now. The thing I'm going to need the most, and that is a very hefty instruction book. Obviously, we're going to need that. One thing that is jumping out at me already is that we can see, if you look up closely, we've got the Super Mario Brothers cartridge sticker, which is really cool. I've never seen a reproduction of that in person, so that's really cool to see it, and obviously Nintendo's held on to these assets. We all know that that is true given recent events. And then we've got the sticker that's on the back of the TV. But I'm going to go ahead and open this up for you right now and take a look. Let's set these stickers aside. And we have not one, but 2 manuals. There are 2 different builds going on here. We've got the NES and the TV. And the TV, I feel, is going to be much more complicated. But let's go ahead and just thumb through this real quick and see what we can see. So we have, this is just really cool stuff. So you can see there's like illustrations they've made of people playing NES or playing NES. They even have a picture of the original packaging for the NES from 1985, which I just think is really cool. Like I said, the box of the Lego kit is evocative of this box art, but you know, it's got differences. But these pictures too that they set up are just They remind me of ads from when I was a kid. Things you'd see in toy stores. And then you've got kind of like a control deck, or that's what they called the NES before the word console was really used. They called the NES a control deck, and you can kind of see a diagram of where everything was located on the original NES, and even some instructions on how to insert a game pack, which I think is really cool. Again, Nintendo called these game packs before the word cart really took off. And you can see here some LEGO designers, I assume, working on the NES LEGO with an actual NES for reference next to them. Again, this is just really, really cool stuff. And of course, then you have the stuff that I'm going to need the most, which is the instructions. And so you can see that that gray base that I found goes to bag number 1, and you kind of start building what looks to be the motherboard of the NES. And you go through these. I'm not going to flip through every single page of instructions because I'm going to be reading these in detail later. But you can see that, I mean, we keep flipping through this book. This is a big book, and it is mostly instructions. So this is not pictures, it's not art, it is just step by step by step how to build this stuff. So this alone is probably going to take several hours to build. I can't imagine that anybody but like the biggest LEGO fans and experts out there are going to find this to be an easy build. And they show you at the end, there's what the finished product will look like, although we've seen that on the box already. And you can also, they also have an ad for a brick separator. So I guess if you get Legos stuck together, you can get that brick separator. I hope I don't need that. Let's take one quick look at the TV and see what they've gotten here, because there is some cool art right at the beginning. You can see screenshots from Super Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong and Zelda and Excitebike and Metroid, and that's really cool. I hope that maybe, you know, they release kind of expansions for this where we build other games, because if you've got the TV and you've got the NES, it would be really cool to have different games, right? And then they kind of show what I was talking about here. You can see that the Mario figure plays the Mario Brothers sounds as you play. And then it's got several different sound effects: a red shell, a question block, a superstar, a super mushroom, a Goomba, and coins. And then we just get into the instructions, and they go, just like the NES, a really, 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 really long way. And at the end, you get to see just, I mean, illustrations of all the bricks that you're getting in this thing, and customer service, along with numbers. So if you mess up a brick or you're missing a brick, you can replace it. LEGO is really good about that stuff, but there are just pages upon pages listing which bricks you get in here and what structures you build. So I anticipate that of the two, I think the TV is going to be the much larger project because it has that scrolling screenshot thing, and that's it. That's everything that's in here. There's what looks to be close to 30 or 40 bags of Legos. It looks like it'll probably be an 8 or 9 hour build if I had to guess, and I'm excited to get into it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, thanks to LEGO for sending this over. I can't believe that we're actually building an NES in 2020, but this is what life is. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to Game Explained for much more on the LEGO NES and all other things gaming as well. Ring that notification bell to be the first to know every time a new video goes up, and I'll see you next time.